Hi there, and welcome to the ATS podcast with me, Will Brown, and John Soulsby, where we break down chunks of health and fitness information into bite-sized pieces, remove a bunch of the noise, and just leave what's relevant. Today's topic is hydration. How much is enough? Probably less than you think, would probably be
Yeah,
my answer.
yeah.
um, the, I mean, if people want an incredibly specific way for making sure they are hydrated post-workout, I would. The easy way is to weigh yourself before the workout, weigh yourself after the workout, and then for every kilo lost, drink it's about 1.5 liters of water or
What
fluid.
is what's wrong with Americans? Start tangent. Go. No, more just. I've been looking up to try and find because I couldn't remember if it was a liter or a liter and a half, and just
Hmm.
everything coming up in bloody ounces. No
Yeah,
one uses ounces.
nobody
No one.
uses. Yeah, no one uses
Just you.
ounces except Americans and drug dealers. It's
It's
literally
like
the only way.
yeah. The recommendation is at least 16 ounces of fluid for every pound lost. I'm like that. They're not even the same.
It's not the same unit.
Like the
There,
reason
there are
liters and
ounces.
kilo,
There's
it's
ounces and
fluid,
pounds,
but like
aren't there?
I think so, yeah. But it's like just the reason kilos and milliliters work really well, or liters, is because like each kilo of water, or a liter of water weighs a kilo, so it's like the same. Oh,
Yes.
mm,
There are
what?
16 ounces to a pound. I thought it was 14, but no, 16.
So why not? Oh,
So 1 ounce is
so
one
why would you say
sixteenth
16 ounces?
1/16 of a pound. Well, because they don't have anything
But
bigger than pounds.
no, but what? The recommendation is at least 16 ounces of fluid for every pound lost. Why not just say a pound of fluid for every pound lost?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Re.
Oh, America. Color has a U in it, and ounces and pounds are dumb. Um,
um,
that's
but yes,
fucking.
let's
That is
say
silly.
okay. Tangent over. Yeah, a liter to a liter and a half. I'd say for every kilo lost. I'd err on the liter and a half because it's not just a one to one. Like you don't drink a liter of water and intake a liter of water.
Yes. It's, but yeah, I think a lot of people put a very big emphasis on hydration. Obviously, it's quite important, but um, for being healthy, like in the context of I just want to be hydrated enough to function properly, healthily, you kind of just need to not have Coke colored pee, and you're probably fine.
Yeah,
Like if your urine is like erring on the shades of brown to dark yellow, probably not. And also, if there's any other
I'd
symptoms
say a
along with
GP,
that, yeah, if there's any other symptoms along with that, you might want to see a GP. um,
especially brown.
yeah, especially brown. But yeah,
It's
extremely, extremely dark.
yeah. Yeah, I'd say for general hydration, actually, like that's something that in the fitness industry everyone loves to like hype up, and then you see, or like, I'm sure you know plenty as well, plenty of like fitness enthusiasts or like other coaches that are like, off to pee every like 20 minutes. It's like, bruh, maybe you're drinking too much water.
Yeah, like
Like this is
the
not normal.
yeah, you can definitely especially when it's like if it is properly like transparent, like there's no coloring to it at all. You should probably lay off because like water itself doesn't replenish a lot of your kind of trace minerals that are involved in cellular function. So like a
Yeah.
pretty common one that people attribute to being dehydrated is cramp. Not entirely accurately, if I'm aware. I'm pretty sure we don't actually really know like the specific mechanisms for cramp. I'm sure
I
there's a
don't think
few,
we do. But yeah, there's probably about 20, which is why it's
but I imagine you can technically be cramping if you're actually too hydrated. Like if you overhydrate
yeah.
and lose a bunch of wash out a bunch of like water soluble vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, all that kind of shit. Your sodiums,
Yeah,
your
I would imagine
potassiums.
it's not actually the H2O that's causing you the issue. Crap,
Yeah, yeah,
probably.
it's the associated like dilution of stuff that is kicking about. What the hell is that thing called again?
Um, Oh, I remember that. Another one is for general hydration. If people are telling you tea and coffee don't count because it's not water, slap them. Ignore them. I'm pretty sure it's like Mike Uoja. I always get his name wrong, and he always says it, and I feel terrible.
Mike who?
Eula?
Oh, Ujoa.
Ujua. There we are. I'll try and remember that. Sorry, Mike. He's like once showed a study that like coffee has a net positive on your hydration level.
Oh, I believe so. It's a bunch of water.
Because I know, but because it's like technically makes you pee more. It like makes you secrete more like urea or something, some chemical. I can't remember the exact name of it that makes you pee more. But like the amount of water that you have to have with your coffee, it doesn't matter.
I'm trying to remember what it's called when you literally drink so much water that you can't. Hyponatremia. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not the sole way that you can get screwed over by drinking too much water. However, if anyone wants to Google it, or there was a famous case where a radio station hosted like a who can drink the most water, and some lassie like died because she
Drowning.
drank. Yeah, drowning. Yeah, it's a classic case of too much water. The Day After Tomorrow, that fictional film.
Yeah.
It's another classic case of too much water. That's definitely overhydrated. Yeah, they have a. I'm pretty sure she got by hyponatremia, which is incredibly low sodium concentrations, which will happen if you just overhydrate. I mean, that's like the most ridiculous water load kind of water amounts you could possibly do. Like even the most even like a 10-liter water load day is not going to come close to that usually.
Yeah.
Especially because normally when people are water loading, they're also doing stuff with their sodium specifically because they're water loading. But yes, I would not sweat too much about how much water you're drinking, as long as you are passing urine that is of a kind of middling to light yellow shade, you're probably fine. If that stuff comes out looking like water, you probably need to lay off and stop drinking so much goddamn water.
Yeah.
In terms of performance, that's a whole different kettle of fish. We would literally, I think, to get into everything, we'd need to go into like an entire podcast. But TLDR, make sure you're hydrated before your event, and make sure you have planned, depending on how long your kind of bout of performance that you are looking to stay hydrated over is, just make sure you have a realistic idea of how much water you will lose over time, and then replenish that and the electrolytes that go with it decently.
Yeah.
Like, unsurprisingly, if you have, I don't know, Edinburgh Marathon was the other day. Like, if you have like Edinburgh Half Marathon coming up, you wake up like 4 hours before the race, and your first pee of the day is like orange, and you're just like, everything is fine, I'm going to go race. You're like, probably gonna have a bad time.
Everything is not fine.
Everything is probably not fine. You should probably drink more than one coffee, even if you're like, oh, but I don't like the weight of the fluids. Like, you will like feeling extremely dehydrated during a half marathon much less. I can assure you. So you probably want to start topping up at that point in this hypothetical example. And again, if you've done your kind of longer runs pre-training or pre-marathon or pre-half marathon, whatever the fuck I said, and you're just like, oh, roughly over this much distance, I lose this much at this time of year. Obviously, that will change due running the roads in Scotland in the winter time will give you a very different amount of fluid loss than running the roads in Scotland during like a 20-degree summer day.
I was out on the bike on Sunday and my fluid loss was unbelievable.
Yeah, so like realistically, if you really cared about your kind of hydration and cycling performance, you would essentially weigh yourself like pre-ride, post-ride, and then work out. Fucking honestly, man. Yeah, I know, but just the context, the colloquialism of riding is just too much for me. I couldn't do cycling. I couldn't do cycling.
Yeah. But it's hard because you go and ask people if they want to go for a ride, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Another situation where hydration is important. You don't want cramps.
No.
The and
No
yeah,
cramps when you're riding.
nah. You want pre-weight, post-weight, and then a rough idea of, based on your body weight, how much fluid that will be lost, and or how much fluid needs replenished along with how many electrolytes. Hence, things like sports drinks and stuff exists. Like the it is. I think it is. I was about to say. I don't think it's not by design that Lucozades don't really come in like bigger sizes than half a liter.
No, probably not.
I'd be interested to see if that was the case, because you would think like, and you can use other fucking sports drinks. Isotonic sports drinks are available.
But then Gatorades come in bigger ones. in
That's
the
true.
States.
Yeah, Gatorades do in the States. They probably come in 16-ounce fucking bottles.
Yeah. um.
To
Yeah.
mix with 1 pound of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Oh, it's probably. I know why it's not a pound. I think it's probably because a pound of water doesn't weigh 16 ounces. Because it'll be 16 fluid ounces, like as in the space, like the amount thingied.
Honestly, why not just use the metric system? Like, come on,
Because they hate
it's so much easier.
the British. It's pretty much why I think.
But we use the honestly.
It's very weird. Although we do still use miles per hour, so
Well, that's the thing is like we used to use Imperial, realized it was fucking dumb, and swapped.
the yeah. So hydration stuff, you're probably fine if you're listening to this podcast and you're just like, my pee is regularly orange. You should probably drink water. But most people's will be a shade of yellow that is either like, kind of dark, like ochery to like lemonade, like very clear. Should be probably fine. If you care enough about performance, you should do pre and post activity weigh-ins to gauge how much water you've lost, because realistically that's all you're going to lose over that time, unless you decide to take like a mid-cycle dump. I don't know if people do that, but
Sometimes you have to.
that's true. Um, and then figure out how much is lost, and then you can use that amount to gauge how much fluid you should take on your bike ride, for example. Like I imagine you don't want to be hauling more water than you have to, because it's just extra weight you have to pedal, but you also want a decent amount of fluids on board. You don't want to be underhydrated on something like a cycle or a run or again sporting activity throughout matches. Same kind of deal. You ever watch any professional sport? They got water boys that come on at almost any valid opportunity just to like shove fluids down folk for that reason.
Also, small tip: little and often. Don't just like be like, "Oh, I'm halfway through my exercise. I'll have half a liter of water."
That doesn't sound like it would go too well. I don't really do anything that merits taking on water intra workout or intra exercise, but it seems like it would be rough.
Yeah.
Cool, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
For our number one tip on how to detox.
Oh yes, clickbait.